Hey guys, so I just realized as I was editing this that I never sort of introduced this little project of mine. So I just wanted to let you know of this new series that I'm starting right now, where I'm actually taking you through the process of designing a real world project, a modern kitchen renovation. It's a renovation of a 1950s mid-century modern house. And I'm going to walk you through the whole process from existing conditions to sketching, to designing, to using Enscape for presentations, to creating floor plans, elevations, as well as client meetings. So I'm super excited to start this little series with you guys. I hope you are too. And of course, I'm going to be showing all the tools, tips, and tricks along the way, whether it's Revit, Enscape, hand sketches, what pads I use, pens, you name it. And I'm super excited for it. So with that, I want to present to you Residential Revit Modern Kitchen Renovation Series. So this is a renovation of an existing kitchen. So the first thing that we're going to do is the dreaded existing conditions survey. All the architects out there, I'm sure at one point in your life you have gone through with your graph paper and your tape measure and maybe your laser tape and maybe your pen and whatever else tools, cameras, whatever tools you use to survey existing buildings in order to model them or draw them or draft them in whatever program you use. And I know most of you probably know the process of going out there, taking measurements, trying to draw the thing out and sketch it correctly, going back to your desk, trying to recreate your graph sketch, only to maybe miss a dimension or have to go back or to realize that whatever you sketched is actually not the way it lines out. And there's quite a bit of frustration in this process. And so I thought instead of running through the process that you guys all know, I'm going to show you the new process that I've created using this guy right here. So just by using your phone in a program called Polycan, you can go out and scan using the LiDAR on your phone, scan the existing conditions and input them into Revit. So that's what we're going to do. So I went out there and I took my phone and I did bring a tape measure just to have a couple verification measurements, but I scanned the space just walking around holding my phone up, and it created a point cloud and a mesh. If you're interested in the entire process and what program I use called Polycam, I have some links in the description below to some detailed walkthroughs of the actual scanning process. But now that we have the scan done, I'm going to walk you through the process of bringing a scanned point cloud, this one created from my phone, into Revit to produce existing conditions models. So first, let me just show you some of the scans that I created. You could see I actually did each of the rooms as their own scan. Then I kind of did a full walkthrough. This is the powder room here. And if I click in, you'll see I'm going to zoom into the total kitchen, but I also did more detailed scans of just the walls themselves, as well as a full scan of the project. And this is important because when you're trying to stitch together full scans, sometimes there can be some issues, and so it's nice to have higher resolution of different areas and then be able to pull them together. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring these scans into Revit. So the first thing you want to do is export them to a point cloud or a PTS. So now, unfortunately, Revit doesn't bring in PTS files directly. Recap is just a program that Autodesk created that reads point clouds. And so the process of doing that is importing the point cloud into Recap, the PTS file, I should say, into Recap, and then just simply saving it. So all you have to do is import the point cloud and then save as a Recap file. Unfortunately, we can't just bring point clouds directly in, so this is what we have to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm just quickly clicking my PTS file, which is my point cloud file directly from Polycam. And I'm going to open it in Recap, and then once it's open, I'm just going to click Save, and then that's really all I need in Recap. You'll notice that this is rotated. The reason I'm not re-rotating it in Recap is I'm just going to do it in Revit. It's actually easier than in Recap. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. I just realized as I was editing that I forgot to record this little segment here, which is introducing the sponsor of our series. So this entire series, however many 15, 20 episodes this is going to be, is sponsored by RevitFamily.biz. I'm going to roll a real quick clip and check out for the promo code to save 20% off. That's right, 20% off any cabinet, door, window, etc. family that Brenton has made. For those of you that don't know what RevitFamily.biz is, you will see in this ad. Make sure you check it out. It is a family creation company, and you may know Brenton from some of my live streams. So sorry for the quick interruption. Check out this ad reel, and then we'll jump right into Revit and turning this point cloud into a Revit model. So now we're in Revit. So I'm going to create a brand new file. We're starting from scratch on this project. I'm using a template that I have. It's a residential template that I will make available to you guys at some point in time. So it's a blank file. There's nothing in it. I'm going to go right into my 3D view, and I'm going to import that point cloud, which again is a recap file right now. It's called our .rcp file type. So I'm going to go to Insert, Point Cloud. I'm going to select my RCP file. I'm going to open it into my document, and then you can see there's my point cloud there. So now from here, it's actually a pretty simple process of just rotating and orienting the scan or the point cloud wherever I want it to be. So you can see I'm in my existing elevation. So I'm just going into my south or my east elevation, and I'm rotating, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. And then from there, I want to make sure that I have my levels on. My template in this case didn't have the levels on this particular view, and so now I can align this based on my levels, and I can start adjusting my Revit model based on it. So I'm going to use MV on my keyboard. I'm going to move the point cloud up. You can see the scale looks pretty good. The nice thing about LiDAR is that it does scale it. Now I'm going to go to my floor plan view. I'm going to rotate this, RO on my keyboard for rotate. And I'm just going to align the plans the way I want. So you'll notice that the point cloud is actually it's creating views that are usable. There's a floor plan there. Once you start slicing through it, you can actually start getting a sense of the project. So here's a little section box just to show what this point cloud looks like. And as I look down, you can see you're starting to feel the floor plan a little bit. You're starting to see the makeup of this project. You're also starting to see why I decided to scan this project. As you can see, there's a lot of angles. The house has tons of angles. None of them are 45s or 30s. They're all over the place, including the ceiling, which we'll get to down the road. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to bring in all the other scans of the other rooms. So there's a powder room that is right off the kitchen here. There's a mud room sort of entrance area. And then there's a couple other highly detailed elevations that I scan. So the process is actually pretty straightforward. I'm bringing the recap file in. I'm going to rotate it just like I did the other one, RO on my keyboard. Using an elevation view is easiest. Once I rotate them, I'm going to go to my plan view, and I'm going to use common places to align it. What you'll notice in my scans is that I did turn the corner in most of the scans so that there was a common wall or location. You can see here I'm actually using the cabinet, the corner of the existing cabinet, to align and rotate and just sort of massage this scan into the place. So that's one thing there. If you're doing multiple scans, you definitely want to make sure that you have something to tie each of the scans together with. You can see same thing here. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to use known condition, which is actually the corner of the wall. There's a closet there. And now I've got all these scans lined up, and you can see I have a highly detailed version of the mudroom, a detailed version of the powder room, and now I'm starting to sort of tie this floor plan together. Okay, the other thing that you'll notice I did right there is I actually pinned my scans. Once you get them into a location that you like, that you feel is correct, you want to pin them. So just select the object or the scan, type PN on your keyboard, or under Modify you can click Pin. What that allows you to do is it actually keeps it in place, so you can't accidentally drag, move, shift, move the scan around once you've actually aligned it where you want. So now you can see I've got a floor plan view. I've got my phasing set to existing. I'm in my existing level 1, and I'm going to start drawing walls. So I'm gonna just go down to my wall types. I have a couple exterior walls, interior walls already set in here, mostly residential style walls. And you can see I'm just going to go through and place these finished face interior, right? Because I scanned from the inside of this project. So you can see I'm going to go from right to left, not left to right. And I'm going to follow along with this. And so the other thing you'll notice is that it's not perfect. I am sort of making some assumptions here and there based on the straightness of the wall and the straightness of the scan. But overall, when you start laying this out, you'll see it is just as accurate, if not any more accurate, than you going out there with the tape measure, a laser measure, and going back and redrawing it. I'd say I actually have more confidence in this process than the other. The other cool thing is I'm going back to Polycam, and I'm kind of using this as my existing condition survey photos. If there's an area that I didn't know or I can't really tell in the scan, I actually go back and I can check in there. I can measure it and so on and so forth. And now I'm just going to go through. I'm just tracing walls. You can see I have a floor plan set up now, and I'm just going through and tracing the walls and getting them as close as I can to what I see the scan, or what the scan is telling me. What the scan is telling me this is. And so I'm going through putting some interior walls in. Then I'm going to put in some more interior walls here. And you can see it's actually pretty easy to see them. The biggest tip I can give you guys when working with scans with point clouds is actually the views are the most important. You're going to be creating a ton of sections, a ton of floor plans, a ton of section boxes, elevations. Getting the right view to see what you need is extremely valuable. Here you can see the wall base offsets were obviously wrong, so I changed those from 4 feet off to back to 0 to the level. And you can see I'm actually starting to develop this floor plan. It's coming together. I'm starting to see the shape of the project, and starting to play with some of those angled walls. Hopefully you can see from that video that might have taken a while to figure out those angles the old school way. I know it would have taken me a while, measure each of the corners, measure a few corners, and then sort of figuring that out. Here it's right away. You bring the scan and you can see what it is and you can move on. All right, so we've scanned our existing conditions, we brought them into Revit, and we started drawing our walls. Stay tuned in the next episode. I'm going to be filling in windows, doors, the roof, the ceiling, and going through and just digging into creating this existing conditions model that I'm then going to use to actually design this space. Not to mention we're going to use Revit. I'm also going to be sketching. I'm going to be using Enscape. I'm going to walk you through the entire process. So be sure to stay tuned. If you enjoy this video, let me know in the comment below. If you like this series, this style, and you're excited for it, let me know. And please subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. You guys are amazing. See you next time.